Say, it's your winning season. It's your winning season. It's your winning.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to a winning moment with the Winds. We're excited this morning, as we are every morning.
Yes,
but we
are.
just got back from one of our conferences,
Yes.
our Full Gospel Leadership Conference. And I have, of course, in the studio with me none other than my lovely wife of almost 30 years. But, man, I love doing ministry with her, love doing church with her. And so we just got back from the ATL.
Yes,
we was
we
down
did.
at Bishop Oliver's
Yes, we
church, Elizabeth, Full Gospel Baptist Church there in the ATL out on Cascade Road.
Cascade Road.
Yeah, so we had a great time.
We did.
But I look forward to this particular conference once a year. So it started out called the Pastors and Leaders Conference,
Right.
where the pastor would take himself and his leaders, the leaders of every ministry, and they would actually have classes broken down. And I'll never forget it. It's a 3-day event, and we would start class at 7:30 in the morning. My God, my God.
Yes,
7:30
we did.
in the morning.
We
And
did.
after that first morning, boy, it's a fight to get up.
Yes, sir.
But you always got up because you never wanted to miss anything.
Because it was some good information.
Great information,
Yeah.
great information.
Exactly.
And it was for pastors and leaders,
Right.
which is awesome. And we're all supposed to continue to learn. And so as a leader, you have to learn.
right.
You have to continue to learn. And so they changed the name to Propel. To Propel. And so with Propel, would you tell us what Propel
Yeah.
stands for?
Of course. Propel. It stands for Pastoral Resources and Organizational Plans for Equipping Leaders.
Okay, so that's awesome. So when we went to Propel and we go now, we get the best of the best.
Yes, we do.
We
Yes,
get the
we
best
do.
of the
We
best.
do.
So it's not just full gospel teachers and preachers, but it's the best voices across the land that God
Right,
has
exactly.
on a platform in this
Right,
season.
right.
And so that was some great things that we talked about. So just give us a quick highlight of one of the things that stuck out in your mind, one of the Propel talks. And because it went from individual classes to now we do Propel talks. And I'll never forget, it blessed, those individual classes blessed me.
Right.
And we talked about it a little bit because remember our deacon, we sent our first ordained deacon to the deacon class
Right.
years ago. And it changed his whole perspective on what a deacon should do and deacon's
Exactly.
responsibilities. And so coming back, instead of coming back fighting us or watching us, he came back and was assisting us and helping us. And so that blessed me.
Right.
And so now we do Propel Talks. And so what are one of the talks that just stuck out in your mind, that just bless you, just right off the top of your head?
Well, there are several that really blessed me, but before we talk about that, I just kind of want to say that the Propel Talks this year, the title of it was Ministry, Marketplace, and Me.
Yeah, so every year we have a theme. And so
right.
the theme was ministry, marketplace, and me, which is awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
So then it took care the teachers or the speakers that spoke during the Propel Talk was gauging those particular areas.
Right.
They were gauging those particular areas. But the one that stuck out most to me was Full Gospel Cares.
Yeah.
Full Gospel Cares.
Yeah.
With Bishop, I think her name is Jester. Bishop Jester, she came in there and she gave us some information that I believe every church need to have.
Right.
Because with the Full Gospel Care, it says just that it cares.
Right.
And so they come to your church and they just give you all the information that you need, not to be just effective, but to be effective, to be safe, things that you don't even think about.
Right.
On a normal, because we think ministry.
Right.
But they I mean, they cover every
They-
every basis of it.
They prepare us for a disaster
Right.
before the disaster
Before the
happens.
disaster happens.
So that once the disaster happens, we don't have to now try to think of a plan. We
Right.
already
We got
have
a
a plan.
plan. Exactly.
And not only do we have a plan, but we have resources because we partnered with local organizations.
Right.
And so we have resources so that we can recover faster and our church or our parishioners are not in a place of destitute, but we have a plan. Just like if we have a fire, we know what a rallying point. We know how to exit. And like you say, a lot of times we don't think that piece. We don't think a whole lot about
Right.
that because we think ministry. We
Ministry.
think I got to have a solid sermon and I got
Right.
to do this and we got to do that. But what happens if a fire starts? How do the people exit safely. And where is the rallying point where
Right.
we can account for everybody to make sure we left no one behind?
Right. And then you know the one of the things that she said that really blessed me was the fact she said we need to look at, because we know how to do church.
Right.
But she said we need to look at and we need to consider having some, because everybody, the way the church is set up, everybody back is towards the door.
Right. For the most part.
Everybody back is towards the door for the most part.
Right.
Except for the person that's ministering.
Right.
So she suggested that you put some people up front.
Right. That's
They're
facing,
facing the door. So that's
Right.
somebody sitting in front of the pulpit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or standing, or however,
Right.
So
Somebody
really what
watching.
she's security.
Right.
Security, yeah. And so and I was like, that makes sense.
Right.
And so when you see, because we do see some churches that have, they may have a security person on both sides of the
Right,
stage,
standing and
standing
watching the
and
door.
watching.
Right.
And so but like I said, to me that made a lot of sense, and that's something I think that most churches, all the churches, need to consider implementing
Right.
for the
Right.
for the sake of safety, because now with the law, everybody carrying,
Right.
and not everybody's responsible.
Right. And so
Responsible
somebody need to watch the
Exactly.
people that's shouting and
Right.
praying and all of that.
Right.
That's, yeah.
Right.
But I love what I love about Full Gospel Care is the connections and the partnership that they make, like with the local Red Cross
Right.
and all of these
Right.
other organizations. And there are grants that you can get to make sure that your building is equipped with proper exit signs and all of that. And so that's why I just love. I love Full Gospel because it's a fellowship, and they'll come and give us that information, and
Right.
you don't have to implement it
Right,
because
you
they
can-
don't
it's your
tell you what
choice.
to do. It's
Right,
your
they just
it's
give
your
you some advice. That's what's
right. It's
but
your choice.
and like you said, I love Full Gospel as well, because like you said, one, it's a fellowship,
Mm-hmm.
but two, Full Gospel is on the cutting edge. I
Right.
mean, that's truth be told. It is.
Right.
And so when you go to a Propel conference, or you go to an international conference, it exposes you to things that you never even, ministry-wise, that you
Right.
never even considered. Some of
Right.
it you never even seen. And it's
Right.
like, because I mean, I just love it when we go to Bishop Oliver's church for the Propel, and they got the artists in there.
Right.
The
right.
artists in there. And so don't be surprised you come in the spread and you see the artists in here.
All the notes.
All the notes. All you
on the
gotta do is
blackboard.
get your phone
on
and
the
take a
blackboard.
picture of it.
And
Yeah.
as they're talking, he's
He's
drawing.
sketching it out.
He's sketching it.
Sketching
yeah.
it out like an
It's
etching sketch when we
it's
were
a
kids.
sketchboard. That's
we
what
had
it's
an
called.
etching
It's,
sketch.
right. It's
Right.
really a sketchboard. Yeah.
Right. And it's
so that's-
electronic. It's
right.
electronic.
And it's top of the
that's
line,
powerful,
cutting
man.
edge. Awesome.
Yeah, powerful.
Yeah.
But
Right.
had we not went there, we wouldn't have seen that.
Right.
Or it would have been a long time before we got exposed to it. I would say it like that.
And it's exposure.
Right.
You know, I was reading a book. There's a book, a young man, Rainey, I think his last name, and he talks about the autopsy of a deceased church.
Mm-hmm.
The autopsy of a deceased church. And one of the chapters in there is the past is a hero, and everybody love heroes.
Right.
And so one sign of a deceased church is that you give more glory about the past. You talk
Right,
more about
right,
the past
right.
than you do the future and the present. And so everything is about, well, we used to do this and we used to do that and we used to, and back in the good old days. And I wish the good old days was back, and I wish we can bring back
Man,
the
I
good
don't
old
want them
days.
good old days.
And that's the
I'm
past.
I don't.
And so that's the sign of a deceased church.
Right.
That's the sign of a dying church.
Right.
When you give more reverence to the past more than the future. Faith always point to the future,
Right.
never the past. So I love, and another thing I love is that we get to hear all the top voices and all the great voices that God has in this season that's speaking to the church. And they're all not, a lot of them are from Full Gospel, but all of them are not from
That's
Full
right,
Gospel.
that's right.
And so I can't remember this preacher, but man, he came in from, I know he's Church of God in Christ, and he started out on 100, and he
Closed on
finished up, he ended on 100. I'm like, man, how could he go that hard for that long? And we had some awesome speakers from different. We had Fernandez from the Faith organization, or the Faith Reformation down there in Florida. Yeah, he has a great testimony,
testimony.
how he moved in faith, and
Right,
God blessed him
right.
to pay off his church and
Yeah.
all of that. And so I
And
love
and
it.
it was not a small amount of money.
No, it was like $6 or $8 million.
It was in the millions, I know.
And God told him, say, you're gonna pay it off in cash. And he talked about how this guy that came in
That's
in
right.
overalls for Bible study in the middle of the week, didn't call him by his title, call him by his first name and say, I heard what you're doing. Show me the place.
Right.
And within 48 hours, the guy wrote him a check to pay for the whole thing and the full
Right.
amount. And so
Right. It's awesome.
yeah, it was just great. And so it's exposure. You get exposed
Right.
to, and then you get to connect. You get to make connection
Right.
with
With
pastors
these people.
all
Right.
around the
You
nation.
sure do. Sure
All
do.
over the nation, and talk to them about what's happening, in their city, in their hometown, what they're doing. And you'll find out that, man, they're doing some of the same things that you're
Exactly.
doing. And so I was amazed
I
at
was too.
some of the things that I'm like, man, you guys are doing that. That's what we're doing.
the
And,
same thing, And the other thing too is not just that we're exposed to those people. We have the capability of them coming to Lawton. They could
Right.
they
They
would
will-
travel to Lawton
right,
if that's
they'll
what
come
we
to your
desire to
church.
do.
Yeah, they'll come to
Yeah.
your church.
So
and teach and,
Right.
and help
Right.
do those type of things.
Right.
And so exposure. I can't wait till we sit and talk to our young people that went with us, our
yeah,
young
because we
leaders.
did have some that went
Yeah,
with
we
us.
had some
They were
young.
excited.
Yeah, they were so
They were
excited.
so
They'd
excited.
never been exposed to anything
Right.
at that level,
This
to
was their-
ministry.
This was their first leadership conference.
Yeah, to
Propel
ministry
conference,
at that level.
Right.
Ministry, marketplace, and me. So ministry is important, and your ministry should affect the marketplace, but you also have to take care of me.
Yes, sir.
And that's a lot of things that we don't do. We don't
Right.
take care of. We go ministry hard. Yeah, and then sometimes people get burnt out. Pastors get burnt out. So you have to take care of me. It all goes together. It
That's
all
right.
flows
It
together.
does.
Ministry, marketplace. We have to be, the church should be effective in the marketplace. I don't know where I heard the quote, or I read it somewhere. It says that if your church, if the doors closed today, would your community miss you?
Right.
That's profound. If your church shut down today, if you close the doors of your church today, would the community miss you? And if the answer is no, that means we're not being effective in our ministry.
Yeah.
We're not being effective
in the community.
In the community.
Right.
And the ministry is not effective because the ministry should affect the community.
Right. It should reach outside those four walls.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and be a blessing to help take care and meet the needs of the people in the community.
Right.
And then there's me. There's me. Yeah, there's me. You cannot you cannot allow yourself to get burnt out.
Right.
You got to take
You
care
got to take care. Yeah,
of yourself.
you have to take
And
some
so
self-care.
Yeah, there's soul
And it's more
care.
to self-care, like the speaker was saying, than getting your nails done.
Right, right.
Getting your
You're
feet
still
done.
you're taking care of the outside,
Right.
but there's an inside
Right.
that you haven't even touched, and so you look good from the outside,
But
but your soul, you still haven't ministered to your soul. And so she shared a lot of good information on that. I got a lot of good notes. I took care, and I also ordered. We ordered
the Propel on demand.
on demand, Propel on demand.
Yeah.
So for a year,
We can go back.
We can go back and relook at it and revisit it and take
check
notes.
check our notes, make
and-
sure we
yeah,
didn't
make
miss
su-
nothing.
Right,
All
yeah.
of that stuff.
So I'm excited when they push that button so we
Right.
can download it and get it. So we're going to show it to the church. We just going to have a movie night, or instead of doing Bible study one
you
night.
said movie night. That made me think about too at Propel that the one of the speakers came out and introduced us to Chosen.
Right, the series.
Yeah.
Man, it's having an impact.
It's
I did
right.
not know. I knew about the series,
Right,
but I
but
did
I-
not know it was having that kind of impact.
Because
Over the
it's
nation.
like, because when you hear about biblical movies, you be like, they gonna miss it. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't really be like excited about, I'm gonna go watch a biblical movie, because a lot of times they miss it.
Right.
But this movie, The Chosen, the series, The Chosen, it's
It's
blessing.
saving lives.
Yeah,
Man,
it
people are
is.
giving their life to
Yeah.
Christ because of that series, The Chosen.
Yeah.
One of my good friends, Bishop Catches, he did a Propel talk, and he talked about lessons from Moses.
Yes,
yeah.
he did.
Yeah, he had 4 little points. It says that all success is not successful. And he broke that down and
He
explained that. That was powerful. Then he said success must be critiqued.
Right.
Oftentimes, because this is successful, we never go back and critique it,
Right.
see how we can make it better.
Better.
And change as time change,
Right.
season change.
Right.
We have to critique it, and we have to go back and look at some stuff and tighten this up a little bit, maybe let that go and all of that. And then he said success demands instructions. The success demand instructions. And
He
so
did.
he broke that down
Right.
about giving
Right.
proper instructions.
Yeah. And I enjoyed that piece too, by giving proper instructions.
Yeah.
Give me a Coke,
Yeah.
or give me a soda. Go get me a soda.
Yeah, I want something to drink.
Yeah, I want something to drink.
Yeah, so somebody
Okay.
come back with, you want a soda, you want water, you got to give
Pacific.
you got to be
Yeah.
You got success commands instructions.
Instruction.
And so in my mind, if I just tell somebody give me something to drink, but I really want some water or I want a Sprite, I got to give proper instructions in order for me to be successful in getting what I want to drink.
Right. And then if you don't get what you want to drink, it's on you. It's not
Right,
on that
because
individual.
you didn't give proper
'Cause you didn't give
instructions.
proper instructions.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we point it at the individual.
Right, because
When-
we think that we
that we're
gave
giving-
proper.
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, we
And in
wasn't
essence,
specific.
Right. In essence, we didn't.
Right. And then his
Mm-hmm.
4th point was success requires oversight.
Right. I love that too.
Yeah. Yeah, success
I like that one too.
requires
He was saying,
oversight.
Right.
Yeah.
The way he said he did his oversight.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to the fact that it exposed you to things, the Propel and the International expose you to things that you may have never thought of, or you
Right.
thought about it, but you kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so this just enlightened it, and really, it enlightened it. But then it also get you excited
Right.
about, just kind of a reboot,
Right, re-energize.
re-energize.
And that's what we use it for. So we
Yeah.
go to the international conference in July, and then in October we go to Propel. And so I promise you, every one of those speakers, if you got any little bit of preaching in you, you get 4 and 5 sermons out of it. And so it really energizes me to finish well, to finish strong. And so it gives you that. It's like drinking a spiritual energy drink.
Right.
And it gives you that boost to finish the year strong. And so I'm just excited about it. We have a responsibility to serve up, to serve down, and serve around. You have to serve your enemies and those who hurt you. So that was a Propel talk. They talked about how to serve.
Right.
And so it's easy a lot of time for us to serve up, but it's hard for us to serve down.
Right.
And then it's hard for us to serve at the same level of our peers. And so it's easy to serve the bishop.
Right.
It's easy to serve the presider because I want the presider to know who I am.
Right.
It's easy for me to serve the moderator because I want the moderator to know who I am. I want them to know that I'm gifted. And it's easy for me to serve the superintendent because I want to be seen. It's easy for me to serve the senior pastor because I want to be seen and I want them to know that I'm gifted. But it's hard for me to serve somebody below me. Because they have nothing to offer me. They have nothing to give me. They can't promote me. They can't speak up for me. They can't get me preaching engagements. And then it's hard for me to serve my peers because they jealous or I'm jealous of them or all that kind of stuff going on. But that's our responsibility as a server. We serve up, we serve down, and we serve at our level. We even serve our enemies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right. Because I mean, you already know this. Our greatest example of a servant is Jesus.
Yeah.
He's our greatest example. And so for us to think that serving down is beneath us, that's not him at all.
Right.
That's not even any part of his fabric.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He served Judas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His enemy.
Yeah, his
and
enemy.
he knew who he was
he already
at
knew
that
who he
point.
was.
Right.
Yeah. So he served him. And so we can't pick and choose who we serve.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so if we're doing that, we need to do a self-evaluation.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to say, "Search me, Lord," because listen, I'm not doing what you really have called me to do, because he called us to love regardless, in spite of, Yeah. And so a part of that in doing that, love is an action word.
Yeah.
So that
And
means
then-
I'm able to serve whomever he put before me.
Right.
Look good, don't look good. Clean, dirty. Smell good, don't smell good. I'm able to serve them.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have to serve them with gladness.
Right.
We have to serve them with the proper attitude.
And that's the attitude
so,
of Christ. And
yeah.
that's love.
That was a Propel talk, and that was powerful. That was awesome. And so
Right.
we have to be able to balance our servanthood. We have to be able to balance our servanthood.
Right.
Just like you just said, we got to be able to serve everybody.
Right.
And so, man, it was
That's-
just good. It was just good. You don't want to miss a session. You don't want to miss a talk. You don't want to, man. It was just good. And then to go and make connections. And to us, it's like it's really like a family reunion.
Right.
Because we meet we meet our
Right.
overseers, our pastor friends, and all of those that we met in Full Gospel years ago. A lot of bishops.
We've been with Full Gospel over 17 years.
Yeah, right at 20 years.
Right.
Yeah, right
Because the
at-
ministry itself has been with them for 17.
Right.
And we were there before the ministry came along.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So it's like a big family reunion. And another thing that blessed me is our good friend in Compassion.
Yeah,
That's
I was just thinking in Tulsa.
In Tulsa, yeah.
Compassion.
Yeah, so he heads the National Compassion,
Right.
and he's from the state of Oklahoma. And we become good friends. And so, in fact, our Compassionate Sunday is this Sunday.
That's right.
This Sunday, and so we're gonna. How many kids have we adopted already? Do you know? I know you and I personally have adopted.
We have 3.
We have 3. We have 3 kids already from Africa. From Africa, I believe they are. Huh? Yeah.
Don't get me to try to get that piece.
Yeah. I know I went on a mission trip
Kenya,
to
I think Kenya and
from
Haiti.
Kenya and Haiti. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I went on a mission trip
Right.
to El Salvador, but a few years ago, a year before the pandemic. But anyway, that window is opening back up, and so a lot of our leaders just came from Africa just before the Propel, and so that was a a young man that gave Compassion $1 million. And so what Compassion did is that Compassion gave that grant to Full Gospel.
Right.
So it allows us now, instead of $43 a month, it allows us now to be able to adopt a child for 12 months for $25 a month. That is awesome. And I know our youth ministry,
has, two.
they have two.
They have two kids.
Two kids, yeah. And so we're challenging every ministry of Spread the Word
Right.
to adopt some children this Sunday, and so that we help bring them out of poverty. Personal note, personal experience. When I went to El Salvador, we would pull up on a bus to a ministry, and they would be singing "Here Come Hope" in their native language. So they looked at the pastors, they looked at the church as hope.
Yeah.
And what happened is that we met with them, we had church services with them, and then that afternoon we was divided, and they took us to their home and allowed us to see how they lived.
Right.
And it made you cry. It made you sad how they was on fire for the Lord,
Right.
giving God glory, singing the songs that we sing in worship, dancing and shouting. And then they went home to one light in the whole room. And the only electricity they had, they ran a power cord from one house to the other. In their living conditions, it's like, man, how can they shout like they shout and live like they live? And so Compassion is doing a great job of getting those children out of poverty,
Right.
and giving them medical and dental and giving them help. And so I'm just excited to be a part of that.
It's not just the children, because when you adopt a child,
It's the whole family.
Right. Once
Yeah.
you adopt a child, you actually adopting that entire family.
Right.
So it's a blessing to the family as a whole.
Right.
And so we would encourage you to come out on Sunday. If you just come by to be a part of the
come by, adopt a child.
to adopt a child, right?
Yeah,
because the adoption fee for a year is the $25, but then
25.
after that the price goes up, and I think it's a little higher than what you said.
Yeah.
But anyway, we would encourage you to come out and be a part of that, and help bring some families,
Right.
a child, and bring some families out of poverty.
Out of poverty.
Right. And so again, we're going to be doing it Sunday. Be doing it today.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
today at 11
right.
o'clock.
Actually, today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd
At
say this
11
coming
o'clock.
Sunday,
Yeah.
but it's today.
It's today.
Yeah. So listen, we love y'all. Full Gospel. We're appreciative for the Propel Conference, and it's open to everybody. Your denomination, your Reformation does not matter, but
Because we're a fellowship.
we're a fellowship, not a denomination.
Yeah.
And I encourage pastors, friends, your friends of mine, man, let's get together and let's go. Let's enjoy all the resources that's being put out there. It'll bless your people, and it'll bless you, I promise you. And so remember that we're healthy, we're wealthy, and we're wise. Remember, we declare and decree that the rest of this day shall be the best of this day, and the rest of this week shall be the best of this week, and the rest of this month shall be the best of this month, and the rest of this year shall be the best of this year, and the rest of your lives shall be the best of our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you.
Amen.
Come on, that's it. Everything attached to you wish. Now just tell them, say, it's your winning season. It's your winning season.